Hey all, so today we're going to be reviewing WWE 2K25. And the question I'm sure everybody's wondering is, should I buy the game this year? My opinion, just go ahead with the conclusion up front. Yes, this year's game is excellent. This year, kind of seeing all the hype around it and so forth, that a lot of the core modes weren't focused on. Everything talked about was the island, and that worried me because I wasn't interested in that mode. But this year's game came together nicely. I have played all four of the games on the new generation console, so 22, 23, 24, and 25, as well as a lot of the older ones. I mean, I had 19 and 20, so was looking forward to some improvements this year, and they definitely delivered. So I'm going to run through each of these modes super quick, just to kind of give everybody a high-level overview of what I think of each of the modes, and kind of where the improvements have come in comparison to years past. So just to start off, obviously Roman Reigns is the cover wrestler for this year's game. Even if I got a different edition, I mean, it was not anything to do with him. I just got the Dead Man's edition because it suited my needs. But it's cool to see Roman Reigns on there. He went to Georgia Tech. For those of you that don't know, I knew him as Joe once upon a time. He probably doesn't remember me. It's not like I knew him well or anything like that. I was a TA of his when he was a freshman. But anyway, jumping into the modes here, just to kind of start off, this is kind of a neat feature for something simple. In this play menu, going through the different match types, simulating different matches, you can see in the upper right, I guess my face is covering it a little bit, but it actually tracks your best performing match of that type, just kind of in that one-off simulation mode. I thought that was kind of neat. It's just something I've looked back on a couple of times already. Additionally, you've got several new match types this year. Obviously, Underground is new. Bloodline rules, kind of the theme of this year with the Bloodline. And then I believe some of the Gauntlet Eliminator and Gauntlet Turmoil matches are new as well. So few new match types. Then just kind of running through the main modes. I'm going to start off actually with MyGM and kind of work backwards. So MyGM mode this year, super, super excited. One thing I guess I could show you, let's see here. You can edit everything. In years past, I don't know if that frustrated anybody, you can edit the ring levels, the popularities, the role, the type, the promo skill even. So they added in a couple of things here. Everything is customizable going into this mode. It makes for a fantastic mode. We're going to be doing some of this later with the family, but this mode is fantastic. There's been quite a few additions, the different match types, some more interaction with your wrestlers. Your roster tends to be a lot larger. They have the online option this year as well. That is not all it's cracked up to be. I think, you don't actually wrestle the matches. You can't change the roster in that case. I don't know if that mode is necessarily, maybe in the future they can do something with it, but I enjoy it just the way it is. The fact that the online mode is kind of useless this year doesn't really bother me. But maybe if you're, cross country trying to play some friends or something, it bothers you. So hopefully next year they'll improve on that. Universe mode. So with Universe mode, actually got some decent updates this year. I'm pretty excited about that. The promos, they're not like the old school promos back from 2K19 and some of the past WWE games. But they do kind of work, and Universe mode in general tends to work this year. I think the one thing I'll point out that was a huge downer with Universe mode is the Royal Rumble. There's still a lot of glitches they have to fix with that. People roll out from underneath the bottom of the rope and eliminate themselves. It's kind of ridiculous. That is the main thing with Universe mode I've noticed that seems to be off. For those of you that don't know, one of the big improvements this year is the calendar system. So within the calendar, you can schedule multiple events on the same day. You can schedule a PLE anytime. You can schedule it on the same day as other matches. So here I've kind of got just my generic indie brands and Raw going. Old school Raw. I'm kind of an old school player. But you can schedule multiple events on the same day. Let me see if I can run through and find an example. I guess I don't have one. Oh, I do have one right here. January 1st, you've got the first day, and then I've got Raw scheduled that same day. So PLE and the main game, or the main Raw the same night. And, everything seems to work pretty well in this mode, which was not the case last year. So that in and of itself is a huge improvement. Jumping into some of the other modes here in a minute. My faction. So truth be told, I'm not a huge My Faction player. The VC this year, though, is linked to the island. So I've been doing just, the basics just to pick up any free VC. There is some stuff locked behind this mode this year, like a few of the characters and so forth. But nothing that I've noticed that I've wanted. So it has not been a problem for me. The island, I'm sure you can see other videos with this mode. I'm just going to give my opinion super quick. It's okay. It's fun to kind of play around with. I do have some concerns about some stuff being locked within the island mode, like some of the outfits for cause and stuff, that are a little bit difficult to unlock for people, just kind of ramblings I've heard. Nothing has affected me too much with the island. I have gone on there and played around with it a little bit. Is a little bit fun. My biggest concern is the future of the island. If they try and make this mode into something where everything, I don't want the core of this game to get affected by the island. That would be my biggest concern. But this year it has not. It is just a fun extra mode to experiment with. So check it out. Would love to hear what people think. If you want to comment below. Showcase mode this year with the Bloodline. It's been pretty enjoyable. I have not finished the showcase mode. I did enjoy the first match there, getting Yokozuna. I will say, like some stuff is locked here, and that can be a little bit frustrating because you do have to complete all the objectives to get some of the characters that you'd probably really want. But it is what it is. Like this, looking at the history of the Bloodline, a fun experience. At least as fun as any other, right? Like my favorite was probably last year's, going through the WrestleManias. Like that interested in me, and like previous years, like Rey Mysterio's okay, John Cena, not a huge fan. Like that year, I barely checked out that mode. So My Rise. I did enjoy My Rise this year, although I will say storyline wise, a lot of people seem to like it this year. I actually liked probably last year's the best, especially the female side of My Rise last year was really good. I kind of enjoyed that coming up from the indie ranks. That was kind of a cool storyline. This year's My Rise, I do like the fact that they put your male and female Kaw together and it's one storyline, so it's not two separate stories you have to go through. You kind of get to use both. This mode, the story moves this year, so that's pretty cool. As to whether it's good or not, I thought it was a little cheesy. This was not my favorite year of My Rise, but it played very well, and I had a good time. So is what it is. All in all, I do love the UI this year. Last year's UI was atrocious. I felt like I couldn't navigate through anything. Everything is pretty streamlined and straightforward this year. Everything seems to work pretty well. I have found one strange bug, I guess, in when creating or editing a Ka, where if they've got some portrait, you can't remove it. Hoping 2K gets rid of that, just because there's some good Kas out there that I've wanted to download, but they have some atrocious photo, and I'd rather just see the character. But outside of that, no real complaints. Did mention that Royal Rumble bug earlier, so that still exists. Tons of Kas this year. I'll probably go through the roster in another video and my thoughts on that, comparing it to last year. Did lose a few folks I'm sad about, but all in all, pretty solid roster this year. So that's my take on this year's game. I'd say overall, giving which is better than the past few years, honestly. And, just so you know, my 8 out of 10 is not like IGN's 8 out of 10. 5 for me is average. So 8 out of 10, that means this is a really good game. Definitely the best sports game I've played that's come out this year so far. But we're still only in April, so we'll see how things go. Completely recommend this game. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching.